We continue on Talking Golf from TPC Wisconsin. I'm Mike Heller. Travis Becker is the Director of Instruction here at TPC Wisconsin. And let's talk about fitting. It's something that is always part and parcel to this game. It's grown in so many different ways over the course of time. So I want to ask one of the basic premise concepts. Somebody says, my wife, for instance, I'm not good enough to be fitted for clubs, Mike. The concept of that, I'm sure you deal with on a regular basis. What's the answer to the question that says, I don't think I'm good enough to be fitted?
Anybody can benefit from a club fitting. Whether you are a beginner, you've never touched a club before. No, there's some instruction. We need to get some of the basics down and make contact with a golf ball. But sometimes that lady is playing with her husband's cut-off clubs that are way too long, too stiff, too heavy. And she goes out and struggles with that and doesn't like the game. Where we get something a little bit lighter, a little more loft, and all of a sudden the success starts to happen. So it's good for anyone. If you are a golfer, you must get fit.
Does it change? So other people, I'll give you another scenario that I'm sure you answer on a regular basis. If I'm going to take lessons from you and you're going to effectively kind of change some of the things I'm doing in the swing, shouldn't we wait until we're done doing the lessons before you fit me? Because otherwise, will I have changed my fit based on swinging it better or differently?
We don't see that change happen a whole lot. It's kind of like a fingerprint. Unless you hit 150 balls 7 days a week, you may change it enough where we have to tweak something. But the change comes from a junior player who is growing, getting stronger, or a senior player who may be getting a little bit weaker with age and not swinging like they used to, or their body is a little bit tighter, not as flexible. Changes in the equipment then take place.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago on putter fitting. So you do all elements, right? So you can fit to the putter, and you can fit to wedges and irons and utility clubs and the rescue clubs and the driver and 3-wood, right? All through the bag.
All through the bag. A typical bag fit would take us about 4 hours to walk someone through it. We recommend 2 to 3 appointments because it's a lot of balls in 4 hours.
Yeah.
But we look at all different aspects, from the shaft to the length, the lie, the head design, the set makeup. What kind of golf ball are you playing? Pretty much from start to finish.
Even grip size, right? And obviously putter, it's not just the grip size, but it's the grip shape because there are many different ways. Everything else is grip size because the makeup of the grip on all other clubs is uniform.
Correct. We look at a couple things for grip. We'll measure the hands. We start with that. We look at ball flight. We can put a bigger grip on for somebody that may miss to the left for a right-handed player, or a smaller grip that someone may miss to the right to help them release their hands a little bit faster. We also look at, there's people with hand disabilities, with arthritis, or maybe sore wrist. A little bigger grip may benefit them as well.
Is it different from, somebody says, okay, need new wedges. Can you do a fitting for wedges? Wedges fitting going to be different than your core iron, your 4 through 9 or 4 through pitching wedge? Will that be different?
Yes, it will. During the wedge fitting, we'll match up some of the specifications from the iron fitting. We'll take the length and probably match that up. Lie angle could change a little bit because in a bunker you move your feet into the sand and the club becomes a little bit more upright. We look at how you interact with the turf. So there's different grinds on the wedges. There's different bounces, whether you're a picker of the golf ball or you're a big divot taker, or what kind of conditions you play on, if it's soft or firm, or a little bit of everything. We have sometimes people put a mixture of bounces in their bag based on different situations that they're coming across with a golf ball.
So I was out with somebody playing last Friday, and I've talked to you about getting fitted for a 5-wood, 7-wood, something to stem the gap, because there are gaps in people's games in yardages that they'll say it. You'll hear them say it. I don't have a club for this, or I can't hit my 5-iron here, so I end up hitting my 7-iron even though it's not the right distance. So there are gaps to fill in fittings, right, in the set makeup.
Correct. We do what we call a club calibration, where you'll go through every club in your bag to make sure we're not duplicating anything, or making sure that there's not too big of a gapping where it's 20 yards or more between two particular golf clubs.
So in that's all part of it. It used to be, well, at least to my knowledge, it used to be that people that were getting fitted would make sure that they were getting fitted for their wedges or their woods, especially driver 3-wood, because there's an importance to that part of the game. Totally different on. Well, I mean, I did ask you that. Wedge is different than irons. Irons different than driver 3-wood. But is the fitting totally different on the woods, the long clubs?
It is. Well, in the drivers, the different fitting than the long game fitting with the hybrids and fairway woods. So, driver, we're looking, to maximize your ball speed, your launch angle, your spin rate, and your dispersion. The irons, we're doing the same. We're also looking more at the descend angle so you can hold the green. Wedges, we're looking at a lot of the spin rate so that ball is controllable. So all of the fittings are different. And when you walk through the process, it's eye-opening, and 99% of the people thought they should have gotten fit years ago, the ones that are starting out to do it.
How often does it change? So somebody gets fitted from you 3 years ago. Is there a change 3 years later? I suppose it depends on where they are in their growth cycle, life cycle. If they're getting older, significantly older, how does that change?
I would say there are slight changes.
Yeah.
Some of the club manufacturers' specifications from standard change year to year. But I just fit a guy that I fit 15 years ago, and the only thing that changed, he went a little bit lighter on the shaft and a little softer flex, but the length and the lie all stayed the same. The set makeup changed where he didn't need a 3 and a 4 iron anymore. He started his set with a 5 iron.
Travis, I'll finish with this. For those who want to do a fitting, you don't have to be a member at TPC to be part of the lesson process or the fitting, so how do they go about it?
Easiest way to find us is either call the golf shop here at TPC Wisconsin, 249-1000, or you can go directly to our website, tpcwisconsin.com, and look under the Golf Academy page and fill out an inquiry.
All good stuff. We continue more with Talking Golf in a couple of minutes right here from TPC Wisconsin.